They say marriage is about safety, stability, partnership, that if you're lucky, you'll find someone who makes you feel secure, and I thought I did. I married my husband because he made me feel safe. He was successful, grounded, predictable, calm after the storm of chaotic, exhausting relationships that left me drained. At first, his calm was everything I thought I needed. For a while it was enough. We paid bills on time, had decent conversations, and lived in a house with tidy rooms and a calendar full of routines. But peace, I've learned, can sometimes feel a lot like silence, and silence over time can start to feel like loneliness. Conversations shrunk to grocery lists and utility bills. Our touch became mechanical, quick kisses, obligatory hugs. Intimacy? That disappeared so gradually I barely noticed until it was gone. I convinced myself it was normal. People get older, life gets busy. You don't expect butterflies forever. But what no one warns you about is the quiet ache that builds when you stop being seen. When the person lying next to you every night stops looking at you, not out of malice, just indifference. I didn't need constant affection, just recognition. I wanted someone to look at me and see me, not just the mother, not just the wife. Me. I envied strangers who laughed together at cafes, couples who held hands like it was natural, effortless. I had everything I was supposed to want, yet I felt like a ghost in my own life. Then came the shift. My stepson moved in after a breakup. I braced for tension, awkward dinners, mismatched boundaries, but instead, he was quiet, respectful, kind. He noticed things, asked how I was, and not out of obligation but genuine interest, and when I answered, he actually listened. At first, it felt harmless, a warm presence in a cold house. I'd mention I was tired, and he'd recommend a show to help me relax. I'd say dinner felt lonely, and he'd pull up a chair. He made space for me in small ways I hadn't realized I'd missed. He noticed a new sweater, complimented my hair, simple things. But when you're starved, even crumbs feel like a feast. Then one night, everything changed. My husband was away at a conference. I got up late for water and walked past my stepson's room. His door was slightly ajar. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. Just a glance. What I saw stunned me. He was shirtless, lying on his bed, phone in hand. A woman's voice echoing from the speaker, soft, breathless, unmistakably intimate. I should have walked away. I should have shut the door, but for a second, just one heartbeat too long, I stood there, watching. Shame hit me like a wave. But tangled in that shame was something darker, something terrifying and human. I wasn't disgusted. I was awake. For the first time in what felt like forever, something inside me stirred. I went back to my room trembling. It wasn't just what I saw, it was what it awakened in me, a raw, primal hunger I didn't want to name. The next day, I avoided him, but the memory lingered. And worse, the feeling did too, the way he smelled after a shower, the sound of his voice when he was tired, the way he looked at me like I still mattered. I started wearing makeup around the house again, brushed my hair a little nicer, put on clothes that made me feel invisible. I told myself it was for me, but it wasn't. I wanted to be seen by him. We never spoke about that night, but everything had changed. There was a buzz in the silence now, a tension that thickened with each passing day. Then it snapped. Another pointless fight with my husband. Another night alone on the couch, tears stinging my eyes, wineglass in hand. He walked in late, saw me and sat down beside me, not with questions, just his presence. After a pause, he said quietly, "You saw me that night, didn't you?" I didn't respond. I didn't need to. He didn't react with embarrassment or arrogance, just quiet, steady understanding. "You haven't looked at me the same since," he added. I tried to deflect, change the subject, anything to escape the truth sitting between us. But then he touched my hand, just that, one hand on mine, and in that single touch there was more tenderness than I had felt in years. "I shouldn't feel this way," I whispered. "I know," he said, but neither of us moved. I said it couldn't happen. "Then why are we still here?" he asked. I had no answer. What happened? Next wasn't seduction, it wasn't planned, it was surrender. All the years of silence, all the unmet needs, all the aching loneliness crashed into that single moment. When it was over, there was no joy, no rush, just silence. He looked at me with uncertainty. I couldn't meet his eyes. I stood up, said I needed air, and left the room. That night I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, not because I felt guilty, but because I didn't. What I felt was relief, a dark, honest kind of relief, like someone who had been thirsty for years finally taking a drink. I was still drowning, but at least I felt something. The next morning, everything looked the same. But nothing was. We didn't talk about it, not the next day, not the day after. Eventually, he said he was thinking about moving back to his mom's. I didn't argue, I just nodded. When he left, he paused at the door and said, "Take care of yourself." Then he was gone. Now I move through my life like I'm on autopilot, smiling when I have to, playing the role. But inside, something is unraveling. I keep asking myself, was I just lonely, or was that single moment of truth worth the pieces I broke? My marriage, my role, maybe even a part of who I was. I still don't know if I'd take it back.